one time I had someone read one of my letters. I said, I don't have any negatives in this. But she sat down and read it, and she picked out 12. It shocked me how we are kind of negative programmed. And the Bible doesn't teach us to be negative. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And Sarah, you have a wonderful lesson on this.
It's true. And you know, Mom, sometimes we have a hard time with that negative mindset. And I believe we have viewers today who really need some prayer about getting rid of some of that negative mindset. So if you're watching today, hop on the website, get on the phone. We want to pray for you that God would help deliver you from some of that negative mindset. The mindset that says, I can't, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I can't amount to anything, I've had all this, you know, past problems, difficulties. But get on the phone, get on the website. We want to pray for you that God would help you to see who God is in you. And I love this because we have a teaching here in just a little minute. And this is a really powerful teaching. It grabs in my heart, and I know it grabs my heart, and it will grab your heart as well. Because you and I, there are times in our life when we say, I can't. I can't get up in the morning. I can't have success in this job. I can't have success with this teacher. I can't raise these kids. I can't earn this living. I can't get this job. We've all said, you and I, we both said, I can't. But yet God, whenever we say, I can't, God always has some answer for us that's a little bit of an upgrade. So I want you to put the remote control down. I want you to settle in here because God wants to speak to you about the I can'ts in your life. I can't get married. I can't lose weight. I can't get healed. I can't have children. I can't have success. All of that. Just pause all that mental stuff and let's listen to what God says about I can. And I want to thank you for coming tonight. We're going to be talking tonight about an issue that, again, hits every single person. If you're watching on TV, this is absolutely an issue that you deal with, I'm sure, possibly every day. But I want you to think back in your life if you have ever said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Anybody ever say, I can't do that? Sometimes we say, I can't do that because we don't have the time for it, right? And we know we're just too busy to do something. But this I can't that I'm talking about tonight is when you say, I don't have the ability, I don't have the talent, the skill, the resources, I can't. That's impossible. It's beyond me. I can't do that. How many of you know that you've said that sometimes in school when you were growing up? You said, you might have said, I can't do math. Anybody ever do that one? I can't do math. Some of you are more linguistically or more science and math oriented, and you say, well, I can't. Some people say, I can't learn a foreign language. Anybody ever say that one? I can't learn a foreign language. I'm not good at that stuff. I can't play an instrument. I have no rhythm. I can't dance. I'm all left feet. We say, I can't. And there's a lot of times when we accept I can't. How many of you know that there's some areas in your life where you have accepted, I can't do that? Anybody in the room? Yeah, all of us. I remember when my kids were little and one of them was in preschool. And this was 3-year-old preschool, so it was half days, like 2 days a week. And I remember on the parent orientation day, the parents come in and we sit with our kids, as they're sitting down at those little tiny chairs and they're doing those scissors. Remember all this little time? Some of you remember this. And it's a sweet time. And I remember there was a little girl next to me and the teacher had said, okay, we're going to, I don't know what it was, cut out a circle. And the little girl shot up her hand. I'm sorry, I can't do that, teacher. I can't do that. And the teacher ran over there. And I thought this was so great. It just absolutely, obviously, has left an imprint on me because I remember it years later. The teacher said, now, honey, we never say, I can't. We say, I'll try, or I need help. And I love that. Because if a 3-year-old says, I can't, then they're really limiting what they can do. How many of you know that? And I think sometimes we do that in our own lives. I can't do that. I can't sing. I can't blah, 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 blah. But I want you to think about this. Just take a quick minute, and I want you to consider what would be the biggest thing in your life that you would attempt to do if you knew that you couldn't fail. What's the biggest thing you would attempt How many of you are like clicking through some stuff? Well, I do. No, that's even bigger. Are you doing that? Thinking through it? There are some big things you would attempt. I mean, like huge things if you knew you couldn't fail. And I want to talk to you tonight and tell you that maybe you can't, but God can. God can. So I want to talk about I can't, because we relate to this super well. There were some people in the Bible who said, I can't. Sarah, Abraham's wife, when she heard, hey, you're going to get pregnant. And I'm not being crude here, but she was after menopause. And she's like, I can't get pregnant. That's ludicrous, ridiculous. There's no way. I can't do that. And yet when we say I can't, that's, I think, a red flag to God, like a bull, a red waving. Yeah, you can't, but I can. I think he looks at anything you say I can't, and he's like, sweet, let's do that. Anybody ever feel that way? I can't do that. And he's like, right on, let's do that. That's what I want you to do, because you can't. I love that. If you think of another person, this is interesting. Think about Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve's two sons. And Cain was jealous of Abel because God accepted Abel's sacrifice, rejected Cain's. God confronted Cain and said to him, dude, you got some serious problems here, buddy. Sin is crouching at your door, and you must master it. From that conversation, Cain went out and he killed his brother Abel. And by killing his brother Abel, he said, by his actions, I can't master sin. You understand what I'm saying? I can't do that. I'm under its control. It dominates me. I can't. There are lots of people in the Bible who said, I can't. And you can relate to them. But I want to tell you tonight that whatever you can't, God can. And I want you to flip over in your Bibles, please, to Moses in Exodus chapter 3. We're going to look at Moses tonight because Moses said, I can't. He said it a lot. He said it a lot, especially at one time in his life. And when you think about Moses, and we kind of go back to his infancy, let's think about how he was born and his situation when he was born. And his parents were slaves under Pharaoh. Pharaoh had given this decree, throw all of the male babies in the Nile River because Pharaoh was threatened by the large Hebrew population. So when Moses is 3 months old, his mom's like, I can't throw my baby in the water. This, you might as well just kill me first because I'm not going to kill my son. So she makes this little boat. This goes all along the idea of saving Moses. Of course, you want to help us with that. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But she puts him in this little boat and floats him along the reeds of the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter comes and finds him. Her heart is sympathetic towards him. He's crying. And she rescues him out. And his sister happens to be waiting in the wings. Hey, lady, guess what? I know somebody that could help nurse this baby because, obviously you're going to need some help. And she can do this because it's in her skill set right now that she can nurse him. And so Pharaoh's daughter says, super, that's fantastic. Hands the baby off to his sister. His sister brings him home, and Moses' mom nurses him, takes care of him. Now, in this culture at this time, she probably, we don't know for certain, absolutely we don't know for certain, but she probably had him in her care for at least probably 2 years, nursing as he grew, because a little baby grows, and after probably about 2 years, maybe 3, she handed him back to Pharaoh's daughter. Don't you know that his mom and his dad knew they got this little guy for borrowed time? So they're going to pour everything into him that they possibly can. And that's why I'm so huge on saving Moses, because most people, their worldview is formed by the time they reach 5 years old. So his mom and his dad were a very critical, vital, essential, nurturing season in Moses' life. In his most formative years, they are Johnny on the spot. They are there. And don't you know what they're pouring into him? I mean, they're pouring everything they know possible, because they know after 2 to 3 years, we got to hand him back and turn him over to Pharaoh's daughter. So they pour into him, And at the end of 2 to 3 years, they hand him to Pharaoh's daughter. And then as you read the Bible, and you read in Acts chapter 7, you can see this on your notes as well. As he grows up in Pharaoh's home. And he doesn't just kind of hang out on the wings and everything. It says here that he was raised, and I think this is really powerful. He was raised and educated in all the learning of the Egyptians, and was a man of power in word and deed. When Moses entered Pharaoh's home, he was absolutely treated in some respects as if he were a son of Pharaoh, educated in all of the education, all of the ways, all the leadership training. And at this time in history, it's some of the best in the world. I mean, this guy is getting top shelf, huge training, leadership, how to do things, education, his brain. I mean, he is absolutely getting poured into the best of the best of the best. This is as if he were in the president's house, not just in the White House for 4 years, but as the president's son for all of his upbringing. And he lived there until he was in his 40s, until he was about 40. So, I mean, this guy gets the best training. He's raised up to be a leader. He's got all kinds. That's the wind. Don't get nervous. God's just helping you pay attention. It's all good. I know, it's fun. But here's the deal. He gets the best training of anybody in the world to be a leader, education. I mean, he is large and in charge. So by the time he's 40, he's confident, he's secure. I know how to lead. I'm educated. I've got all this training and background. And then as an adult, I want you to catch and see what happens here. When he's 40 years old, it says he saw his Hebrew relatives, the slaves, and his heart went out to them. He wanted to go out and check in with them because he knows by my blood, I'm an Israelite. But by my brain, I've been trained as the Egyptians. You with me? And so he goes out and he sees a slave master, Egyptian slave master, beating up on one of his Israelite brethren. It really rips into him. He's like, how dare you do that? He's incensed. That's outrageous. You shouldn't do that. And he winds up killing the slave master. And he buries him in the sand, and then he runs away. And the next day he comes out again, identifying with his Hebrew brethren, the Israelites, and he comes and he sees these two slaves arguing back and forth. And Moses interjects himself and says, stop arguing, stop fighting. You shouldn't do that. Don't you know that you guys are common Israelites, your brethren? You shouldn't be doing this. And one of them says to Moses, who are you to interrupt? Who are you to intervene? Are you going to kill me like the guy you did yesterday? Whoops. You saw that? Oh no. And Moses finds out that him killing that Egyptian slave master has been spread. All that information is spread everywhere. And Pharaoh finds out about it and wants to kill Moses. And I want you to follow what's going on here. Here's this guy that's been trained for 40 years. He's brought up with all of the wisdom, all of the education, the training, the leadership, all that stuff for 40 years. And his own people will not accept him.
Phnom Penh, Cambodia, has an extremely prominent sex industry. Sex workers have few options for their babies while they work at night. Most babies are left alone in dangerous and devastating conditions. Night care, the first of its kind, is a safe haven for these babies. Here is where babies are happy, protected, fed, and cared for nightly. Will you help the least of these? Night Care from Saving Moses.
Jesus dwelt among us to show us how to live freely and abundantly according to His Word. Today we have the living Word to direct and guide us daily. Do you long for a deeper spiritual life? The Word has everything you need to succeed and achieve breakthrough in every area of your life. For a gift of $25 or more, you'll receive Marilyn's CD teaching, The Place of Success. Discover how you can create a life of fulfillment through the Word of God. Use the power of the Word to cleanse your soul, create miracles in your life, and find healing for your body and emotions. You'll also receive God's promises for your every need, wrapped in a lovely leather-bound cover. This powerful book is full of promises that will help you overcome life's challenges. This resource topically arranges specific scriptures to offer you hope and encouragement during difficult seasons. Discover the healing power that lies in the Word. Call or click today.
When he tries to interject between the two arguing slaves, they're like, get out of here. Who do you think you are? You going to kill me like that last guy? Forget it. Blow it off, man. Get out of here. You're ridiculous. They reject him. And now he's got to run away because he's not safe to stay in Pharaoh's home. So where's this guy going to go? And if you think about it, you got to put yourself in his shoes. He's been trained for his entire life to be a leader, to be in charge, to be strong. And now he has no place. His own blood relatives won't accept him. He can't go back to Pharaoh's house. He'll get killed there. So he runs into the wilderness because he has no other place to go. He has no family, no home, no nationality, zero. He runs into the wilderness and hangs out by a well, and some sheep, or some lady shepherdesses, there we go. They come to the well, he helps them, and he winds up going to their home and marries one of them. And he winds up living in the wilderness as a shepherd for 40 years. 40 years. Don't you know at some point during those 40 years, he might have thought, man, all that highbrow training under Pharaoh, whew, that went down the toilet. All I got is sheep around me now. All of that calculus and all of that leadership training, and systems and structures and how to be, all of this and man, that's just gone down the toilet. Why did I ever go through all of that? Because all I'm doing right now is herding these stupid sheep day after day. Bah, bah, bah. How many of you think he might have thought that? I think that possibly he might have thought, I was born for a lot more than this stupid sheep thing. They stink. They're the most stupid animals on the planet. This is absolutely ridiculous. And you know his mindset, some of his mindset, by what he names his first son. He names his first son Gershom, which means I am a sojourner in a foreign land. I don't fit here. I don't fit here. I don't fit with the sheep. I don't fit with his family. I don't fit with the Israelites. I don't fit with the Egyptians. I don't fit. I don't belong. This is not what I was born to do. 40 years. Bah, bah, bah. How many of you know that that's kind of a disappointment? If you're a man and you're in his shoes, don't you think that took him down a couple notches? Is that a little bit hard on the ego? Yes, I'll fill in the blank for you. Yes. So I want you to think about this. Exodus chapter 3. God shows up on the scene. And there's a burning bush. This is after Moses has been herding sheep for 40 years. So he's married, he's got kids, he's in his profession as a shepherd, and he's out there doing his thing, herding sheep, and suddenly he looks up and there's this really crazy random thing happening. There's a bush on fire, but the bush isn't consumed by the fire. With me? So it's burning, but it's not burned up. And then, top it off, it starts to talk to him. So it's a talking, burning bush. Hollywood doesn't do this very well. So obviously it's kind of like catching his attention. God's talking to him out of the burning bush. And I love what God says to him. Exodus 3, verse 10. Right off the bat, first thing he says, I will send you to Pharaoh so that you may bring my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt. I will send you to Pharaoh. 40 years ago. I knew that guy. Oh, yeah, that's the one who wanted to kill me. I will send you back. Oh, yeah. Don't you think this started to trigger some memories in him? Do I really want to go back there? Remember the last time I was there? I don't think this is such a good idea. How many of you think Moses might have thought that? All right, let's watch and see what he says. Because bottom line is, he says, I can't. I can't do this. First of all, and he says this in Exodus 3, 11 and 12, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? You got the wrong person. I can't do this. Do you know who I am? Who am I? Of all the people on the planet, last time I was there, Pharaoh wanted to kill me. Last time I was there, those Israelite people weren't lining up to follow me. In fact, they rejected me. They turned me away. Last time I was there was a guy who was murdered because I was there. This is the place of my biggest failure. Who am I? You want me to go back there? Are you kidding me? I don't want to go back to that place. I got all these lovely sheep out here. They're happy. We're happy together. I don't want to go back to that failure 40 years in the past, that dream that's been dead now for 40 years. I dreamt about leading. I dreamt about being an influence. I dreamt about doing something significant, and that dream died. It died in the wilderness with all these sheep out here for the last 40 years. That dream is dead. You got the wrong guy. I can't do that. Now, don't tell me you've never said to God, I can't. Especially when he asks you to go back into one of those failure areas. Come on, family, I'm getting right in your business, and I'm messing with you. On TV, I'm messing with you. I know it. He wants you to go back to the failure, back to that place of absolute, utter despair, despondency, the hardship, the difficulty. This is when I failed. It's the worst probably day, week of my life, place of my life, and you want me to go exactly back there again? Who am I? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? I can't do that. Nobody in the room's ever said this, right? There's way too much smiling and, oh yeah. I know it's true on TV too. How about this? Have you heard of my failures, God? I can't go back there. When I was back there last time, I was the biggest laughingstock. I was a failure. All those people, they knew me, and they thought, no way, I can't go back there. Pharaoh wanted me as a dead man. I can't do that. Who am I? Furthermore, I've been in the wilderness herding sheep for 40 years. All that leadership stuff that I did, let me just tell you, those skills have disintegrated. I haven't thought about leading. I haven't thought about systems and structures and procedures and management and all that stuff. I haven't thought about that in the last, at least 20 years probably. Don't you know he let some of that stuff go? I don't think he kept his leadership skills sharp. I mean, he's around sheep the whole time. Sheep, I can't do that. I don't have the skills, and we're going to go down the list. Because it's not only, who am I, but then he says, I can't. And he says, I can't a whole bunch. A whole bunch. When he says, who am I? And who am I that I should bring him out of Egypt? Are you nuts? And I love what God says to him. He says in verse 11, certainly, I will be with you.
Phnom Penh, Cambodia, has an extremely prominent sex industry. Sex workers have few options for their babies while they work at night. Most babies are left alone in dangerous and devastating conditions. Night care, the first of its kind, is a safe haven for these babies. Here is where babies are happy, protected, fed, and cared for nightly. Will you help the least of these? Night care from Saving Moses.
Jesus dwelt among us to show us how to live freely and abundantly according to His Word. Today we have the living Word to direct and guide us daily. Do you long for a deeper spiritual life? The Word has everything you need to succeed and achieve breakthrough in every area of your life. For a gift of $25 or more, you'll receive Marilyn's CD teaching, The Place of Success. Discover how you can create a life of fulfillment through the Word of God. Use the power of the Word to cleanse your soul, create miracles in your life, and find healing for your body and emotions. You'll also receive God's promises for your every need, wrapped in a lovely leather-bound cover. This powerful book is full of promises that will help you overcome life's challenges. This resource topically arranges specific scriptures to offer you hope and encouragement during difficult seasons. Discover the healing power that lies in the Word. Call or click today.
I think it's very important that we always keep in mind the end, where we're going. And it's important we think about, well, you know, I want to go to heaven. That's important to me. The end of my life, I want to be in heaven. And when we think that way, it's interesting what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 25. He talks about kind of some reverse engineering. You say, what do you mean by that? Well, Jesus talks about, he says, come, you are blessed of my Father, in verse 35. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. Thirsty, you gave me something to drink. Stranger, you invited me in. Naked, and clothed me. I was sick, you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. And it's interesting because this whole context of these verses is the judgment day. And what Jesus is saying is, on Judgment Day, God's going to kind of look at your life and make an assessment. You know, and it says here, you came and visited me in jail, brought me food, all this stuff. And what the people say here is, you know, what are you talking about? When did we do that? And Jesus says in verse 40, truly I say to you, to the extent that you did this to the least of these, you did this to me. And that's what saving Moses is all about. To the least of these. Saving Moses is our hardcore mission to help small people, babies, 0 to 5, babies and toddlers, 0 to 5, where the need is most urgent and the care is least available. That's the least of these. And the truth of it is, the smallest, most tiniest, remote, obscure little baby that desperately needs help is the least of these. And that's why we have Saving Moses, because it's a phenomenal opportunity to minister, to connect, to express genuine love to the least of these. So that when we get up in heaven on Judgment Day and God rolls through those things, oh my goodness, you were helping the least of these. You were helping with saving Moses. What a great opportunity to express genuine love.